Hi there, my name is Dyer Ephraim, and today I will be talking about the positive impact the ADA has made in the lives of Americans. But first, what does the ADA stand for? It can be defined as Americans with Disabilities Act that was created in 1990. Now, disability can be defined in several ways, but I've chosen to take it according to the ADA brochure, which states that with respect to an individual with a mental or physical impairment. Now that we know what the ADA stands for and what a disability can be defined as, I'll tell you about my topic. I will be focusing on accessibility, and under this topic I have two subtopics that focus on transportation and accessibility to public infrastructure and facilities. But first, it's important for me to let you know that all of my materials have been sourced from the ADA brochure, my personal experience, and citydata.gov. And I'll also like you to know that the purpose of this speech is to actually inform you about the positive changes the ADA has made in America so far. First of all, imagine a world where everybody looked the same, talked the same, spoke the same way, walked the same way. Strange, right? I know. Thankfully, that's not the case. But remember, everyone's fighting a fight. Because I remember in my life, being a young individual on the football team, I sustained an injury, and all of a sudden, my teammates just hands off over me, like everybody was avoiding me because I just had a minor injury. And in that very bleak moment, I realized that every disabled individual in the world has a fight because they're trying to be acceptable, or they're trying to be accepted, I beg your pardon, in society. So that was the phase of my life. Now let's talk about my first subtopic, which looks at transportation. According to the ADA in section 12146, it states that every bus that will be purchased or made after 1990 must have accessibility for disabled individuals using wheelchairs. And I think that's very evident right now if you look across America, especially in New York. You're going to see all the buses have spaces for people using wheelchairs, as they now have a ramp that actually just, makes it easy for them to get on the bus, and they have their own space on the buses. Now, kudos to the Metropolitan Transportation Authority of New York, as they also have something called Access a Ride, which makes it very, very easy for anyone using a wheelchair to just pick up your telephone, call the phone number, and you'll have someone come pick you up in a bus or a taxi and take you to your destination. Now, that's progress. Now, looking at the subway situation in America, you can actually say a lot of work needs to be done, especially in New York, as only 86 out of 468 subways have elevators for disabled people using wheelchairs. But guess what? The ADA has actually mandated the MTA authorities that by 2020 they must have 150 elevators. 150 subways with elevators in New York. What can I say? You can actually feel the impact of the ADA across New York and across America. Now let's look at my second subtopic, which talks about accessibility to public infrastructure. According to 14147 of the ADA brochure, it states that except a building is historic in nature, you must make amendments to every building so that everybody using a wheelchair, every disabled person using a wheelchair, has access to this public buildings. Except it's historic, maybe it was built in 1909 or 1900s, yes, then you can actually retain the way it looks. But if you're going to build a new facility, make some new infrastructure, you have to make provision for people using wheelchairs. And that's very evident. If you go to hotels, cinemas, theaters, you can see that there's a particular entrance of people using wheelchairs. What am I trying to say? We are all human beings and we need to accept each other. Even if you're disabled or you're able-bodied, remember we are all human, and these disabled people are also living just like you are living, and they deserve to be treated with love and respect. Today, I hope I've been able to convince you that the ADA is actually here to make a remarkable impact and make a change in all of our lives, not just disabled people, because now we know how to relate to them and we know how to treat them. So the next time you see someone who's disabled, treat them with some love and some respect. Thank you.